Alright. Last video of Italy. Part 5. Chapter 5. This is my trip to Assisi. Assisi was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. It actually, parts of it remind me of Northern California a lot, just except for with olive trees instead of vineyards. It was so gorgeous. The drive up there was gorgeous. I mean, it's really no surprise. When you go there, it's really no surprise that St. Francis was so in sync with nature. Because, I mean, how could you, I say how could you not be? I'm not trying to undermine St. Francis's union with nature, but I'm just saying, I mean, you can't go there and not recognize the beauty of nature while you're there. I mean, it was just great. So the first thing we did, we went into this. Oh, okay. This is cool. Sorry. At Franciscan, we have this place. It's called the Port. I'm not gonna try and say what it's really called because Portcinocula. Good enough. Close enough. That's my roommate, by the way.
Hi.
Sarah, not Megan. Megan's not in here. Okay, doesn't matter. Anyways, we call it the Port because we're American, and that's how we do things. The Port is the patriot way to say Portcinocula, whatever the heck it was that you just said.
Portcinocula.
We call it the Port. Anyways, at the Port in Ohio, there is a tiny little adoration chapel. Looks kind of like this. And in Italy, there is also a port, except, you know, no big deal. It was just built by the hands of St. Francis. So, you can't actually go anywhere and, like, see the port. And by that I mean, it's not like in the wilderness somewhere. I mean, once upon a time, it was. That's where St. Francis built it. But after, he was canonized 2 years after his death. That's insane. That's like one of the quickest canonizations ever. So, you know, people recognize that he was a pretty special guy and that everything he touched / wore / looked at was pretty special also. So what they did was they plowed down all of this nature. I mean, not really. There are still trees and stuff. But they built this huge basilica around the port. So in my pictures, on my captions, when you see, you know, I'll say this is the basilica built around the port. That means the port is on the inside. And I do have a picture of the port on the inside as well. And it does kind of look like the Franciscan port. But, I mean, it's different. Clearly, you can see there's some paintings and stuff on it. And actually, I didn't take a picture of this because, well, some things are just too holy and, you know, you'd rather just venerate it while you're in front of it as opposed to take a picture of it. And that's what I did with this. They have a stone from the house of the Holy Family. That's right. Baby J, Mary, and Joseph. Their house. They have a stone of that built into the port. And so there's a little plaque, and I love the Holy Family, I love Baby J, so, I mean, I couldn't not venerate this little stone. But anyways, it's definitely worthy. I mean, it's more than worthy of the basilica that's built around it. So, we spent a lot of time there, and so you'll see, I know you're probably curious, because on my captions I said, oh, tune into the vlog, I'll tell you about these stories of St. Francis in the video log. So that is what I'm going to do. Now there's this picture of St. Francis that I have, or a statue of St. Francis, and it is in a hallway that's attached to this basilica. And as we're walking through this hallway, I noticed it, obviously. And St. Francis, of course, is one of the little famous stories about him, is that he preached a sermon to the birds, and the birds actually listened, and the birds actually flew to him, sat on his shoulders, and listened to him give this homily, if you will. So, anyways, St. Francis is depicted with birds pretty frequently. So we're walking, and I see this statue, and I thought, oh, that's a nice statue. I ought to take a picture of it. And up in the corner, you'll see I have it tagged. There are these pure white doves. And I thought they were statues, because like I said, he's often depicted with birds, and they were in this hallway, and they were still as stone, you could say, which is why I thought they were fake. And so then I kept walking to this hallway that eventually led to a gift shop. And so, you know, at this point I'm broke. I mean, I spent way too much in Rome. So, I mean, I was like, okay, well, I shouldn't spend too much time in here because, well, I have no money. Which is fine. It's fine to be in poverty when you're in Assisi. That's actually kind of the way it should be. But anyways, I'm walking back through this hallway, and everybody has their eyes fixed on the statue. And I thought, oh my gosh, was something miraculous happening? Is he, you know, he's depicted with the stigmata. I'm like, is he bleeding from it or what? Like, everyone is just staring in awe. And these two little, well, what I thought were stone doves have all of a sudden come to life. And I mean, they were real the whole time. I say that because that's how it felt to me. I thought they were stone. And sure enough, there they were. They were ruffling their feathers, and there's like a little fountain right at the feet of St. Francis, and a couple of them had decided to fly down there and bathe in it, and they were chirping, and just, oh my gosh, I thought it was a miracle. So that's the story of the dove in that hallway that I said that I would tell you. So there's story number 1. Story number 2, you may have seen a couple of pictures that relate to St. Francis and the roses. And there's something really cool. Some of you have probably heard this story. It's pretty, you know, priests use it in homilies a lot. They use it in the confessional a lot. Well, at least at my school, because, well, we're Franciscan. But there is a story of St. Francis, and when he was tempted with sins of the flesh, he would go into this rose garden, and he would take off his friar robes, and he would roll around in the thorns of the roses. These thorns would get stuck in St. Francis's flesh, and, well, obviously that takes your mind off a lot, because now you're in a bunch of pain. But anyways, just the extreme mortification he did out of the love for the Lord, and, you know, his love for the Lord is what motivated him to want to be pure and to want to be chaste in his religious life. And so ever since St. Francis's time, ever since he's rolled in these rose bushes, they have since grown without thorns. How crazy is that? And I'm sure all you flower lovers or Francis haters or what have you might want to tell me, oh no, there's roses that grow without thorns. They probably just planted new ones or la-di-da. I don't care what you say, because I believe that those flowers or those roses have not grown with thorns ever since Francis rolled in them. And so you will see that painting, it's kind of hard to tell, but on the one side you have angels, and then in the middle you have St. Francis laying, and then there's something kind of dark over there. And what that is well, obviously angels beckoning Francis, or almost kind of affirming him in what he is doing. And what he's depicted as doing is rolling bare in these roses. And the roses closer to the angels are like much prettier looking, and they are without thorns. And the ones closer to the darkness have thorns growing in them, and you can kind of see this, I guess you could say, demon kind of cowering away from the light. And I just thought, wow, what a beautiful image. I wish I could have had that on a postcard or something, because it was just so great. It was one of my favorite things about the Basilica. It depicted that story perfectly. So, yeah, I just thought I would share that with you. Sorry, my nose is so itchy. Anyways, moving on with everything else. Oh, one of the things we got to do, this is probably my favorite thing. We got to go up to St. Francis's Hermitage. And this was a pretty long hike. The university provided shuttles, and I just thought, oh, I know I'm going to regret taking the shuttle. I'm a hiker. I love to hike. I love nature. Not that the people in the shuttle don't love nature. I know they do. but I just knew I would regret not hiking this thing. So I was wearing terrible shoes. I was wearing like my nice clothes. I was not ready to hike, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do this anyways. So you'll see pictures from the Hermitage. I had a beautiful view. You'll also see images. So I guess not everything fit into the first Italy album that I had made. So I made another album full of those extra pictures. So if you haven't seen them, check it out. The album is entitled All the Pictures That Did Not Make It Into the First Italy Album. So pretty easy to find. Anyways, back to the Hermitage. Yeah, I was hiking up and I journaled this. I was hiking this up and I'm gonna be humble with you guys for a minute. This Lent, I was kind of feeling like, whatever, and I've been kind of complacent just in my spiritual life, and it's pretty easy to do because you're so busy traveling all the time. And anyways, I was hiking up this mountain, and I was like, oh my gosh, Lord, why is this so hard? I've hiked Half Dome in Yosemite. I've hiked plenty of mountains, and this is a paved road. It's not that hard. It was just switchbacks going up this mountain. Why is this so hard? And I heard the Lord telling me, it's because you're out of shape. And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's funny. I know I'm out of shape. Gelato could have told me that. But he was like, no, it's because you're out of shape. And that's when it kind of dawned on me. It's not just that I'm physically out of shape, though that is also true. It's because I'm spiritually out of shape. I haven't been making as much of an effort as I could be. And it was just kind of like, wow. Like, when somebody says something, you kind of get put in your place? That's exactly what happened to me halfway up this mountain. So I was humbled by that. So I continued to hike this mountain. And finally we get to the Hermitage. You'll see these beautiful, just like, oh my gosh, trees, everything overgrowing on these paths, and it was just gorgeous. They had really cute statues of St. Francis, really relatable ones, him lounging and stuff like that. So that's what I did. I just laid down and, and I kind of forgot the humbling moment I had had with the Lord a few minutes ago, and so I was just kind of pondering Lent and the things I've decided to give up, and and then I was kind of like not really receiving a response. Like, I felt anyways that I was kind of deep in prayer, and I was like, okay, well, I want to have a good experience up here, Lord. I want you to reveal something to me while I'm here. I feel like that's the way it should be. Of course, you telling the Lord things is really funny. So I was just, I was getting kind of frustrated at this point. I'm like, man, everyone's having these really great experiences, and like, I was in front of the tombs of popes and stuff, and I felt nothing. Like, what do you want from me, God? Like, seriously, what do you want from me? I'm doing everything. I'm making these pilgrimages. I'm doing this, this, and this. What do you want from me? And then it was just kind of silent. And I was just like waiting, And then the Lord finally just goes, no, what do you want from me? And I was kind of like, oh, and I'm just like, I'm, again, silenced in humility. And he just goes, what do you want from me? I've given you the sacraments, I've given you grace, I've given you life, and I've given you the body, blood, and soul and divinity of my only Son. And what could you possibly want from me? And it was just like, like, what do you say to that? And it wasn't a reprimand. It was more of just like why can't you see that this is how much I love you? Why can't you see that I've given you everything type of a thing? It was completely out of love. It sounds a lot more harsh than it actually came across, but it was really humbling. And trust me, I definitely had a lot to meditate on while I was up at the Hermitage after that encounter with the Lord. And it was just, we just forget these things. We have this, I feel like, especially in my generation, we have this sense of entitlement, and it really hurts us spiritually, and we do need to be put in our place. I feel like my generation, me in particular, is pretty proud, and I need somebody, I need a parent, I need God to tell me, stop complaining, stop being a baby, it's just, the Lord is a lot more loving than that. But seriously, you know, sometimes we just need to be put in our place, and I'm prepared to do that this Lent. So, for all of you, I had posted on Facebook for your prayers. If you all could just continue to pray for me. That was my experience in Assisi, and it was really great after that. It was all uphill from there, I guess you could say. That sounds bad because it sounds harder. But I don't want to say it's all downhill from there because that sounds even worse. It was a good experience from that point on. We had a festival of praise, FOP, if you will, for all you FOPers. We had a FOP. I got to go to confession. It was just a really beautiful way to start out my Lent, and I'm glad and happy to have the opportunity to share it with you all through this video. So by all means, check out the pictures that didn't make it into the first Italy album. I hope you enjoyed all my stories. By all means, if you want to hear more, I have a couple more stories that I would be willing to share. Just shoot me a message. And until the next video, God bless. My next destination will be Medjugorje, so look forward to that video. Bye.